Good morning. It's Monday. You're listening to the World Cup Breakfast Show here on talkSPORT. My name's Shabana Hearn. Former England striker Gabby Agbono.
Shabana, after every break, I'm going to read out a little Jude Bellingham stat.
Oh, go for it.
Did you know Jude Bellingham is the youngest men's player to ever reach 50 appearances for the England national team, achieving the milestone at just 22 years and 359 days versus Ghana? He holds the record as the youngest European player in history to feature 4 major men's tournaments, World Cups and Euros. More to come after the next break.
I've got a feeling this guy will go far.
Yeah,
No,
whatever. He's done all right.
he's absolutely brilliant. And do you know what? The kids love him as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Even people who don't watch football.
Yep.
Everyone's in love with Jude Bellingham. He's the guy now, isn't he?
Exactly.
He's the poster boy, that's for sure.
Yeah, let's give him praise.
Yes, 100%. We're here with Arnold Clark. It's the perfect time to upgrade your car, by the way. You can get 2 years free servicing when you buy a used car in the upgrade event. Check it out online. Now, England have reached only a 4th ever World Cup semi-final. It doesn't get any bigger than this. They take on Argentina live on talkSPORT this Wednesday, 8 o'clock kickoff with us. You do not want to miss it. Let's remind ourselves of the journey it's been so far for England.
It's a new World Cup, a new manager, but the same question, is this England's time? In he comes from Rashford, keeping his feet and winning the game for England.
Game, set and match.
And that is that. It's a point for Ghana. They're celebrating like they've won as well they might. What a load of rubbish that was. Game! There it is! England are going to be finishing top of the group.
The draw is being kind, in the same way it was kind to Gav Southgate.
Kane on the turn. Oh, what a goal!
My goodness, do we rely on this fella?
Whatever.
Jude Bellingham on the double. Oh, bring on the Norwegians in Miami. Spilled by the goalkeeper and bundled in. England lead. It is Jude Bellingham again. And the 3 Lions are in the last 4 again.
Do you know what? I'd wear a Jude top. Just a wee picture of Jude Bellingham.
100%. 100%.
Yeah. He's that guy.
Yeah, he is. He's him.
England are unbeaten in their 6 games so far. Their opponents Croatia, Ghana, Panama, DR Congo, Mexico and Norway. So England have set up the semi-final now against current world champions Argentina. Live talkSPORT 8 p.m. this Wednesday. Are England the favourites? We can cross stateside now and bring in a man who's played for England but was also watching for his Argentina against Switzerland on Saturday night. Andros Townsend is with us now. Good morning to you, Andros.
Morning,
How
Andros.
you keeping?
Good morning, how are we?
Oh, well, mate.
Good. Yeah, we're great.
Good.
Thank you. How are you feeling about this? I mean, it's an absolute classic, isn't it, on paper?
It is a classic on paper, and I co-commentated on Argentina against Switzerland, so I have a little bit of an emotional attachment to them because it was a special night. I think they're not the best side I've watched this tournament, but they're the most well-drilled side. Every player in their team has their role, and mainly that role is to try and get the best out of Lionel Messi, who's obviously 39 now. He's not at his peak, but he has a team of 10 players who everything they do is to get the best out of him. So it's going to be a very tricky game, but a very exciting game on Wednesday for sure.
Yeah, I watched the game as well, Andros, after the England game, and I thought that I agree with you. They're not at their best, are they, Argentina? And they haven't been all tournament like we haven't, but they fight for him, don't they? They fight for every ball. But they are vulnerable at times, aren't they? Especially in the fullback positions. You can get at them and you can create chances, can't you, against them?
And I think that the thing with their wide areas, they don't really have wingers. They don't have a Di Maria of the past who has the width. So it's down to their fullbacks, left back Tagliafico, right back Molina, to play high and wide and create that width. They haven't really been exposed much, but they do leave spaces, like you said. When they lose the ball, their 2 fullbacks are high.
Against the Egypt, doesn't it? A lot.
In those wider areas, and possibly that is a way that England could exploit when they do win the ball back.
Yes, definitely.
In terms of playing for England, Andros, you know the pressure of wearing that shirt, but how impressive is it watching Jude Bellingham just doing this for his country, time and time again?
It's unbelievable. And did Gabby say he's still 22 years of age?
23.
23. It's honestly, it's incredible. I watched the game the other day, and you can see the nerves in some of the players. Gordon started with a bit of nervousness. Madueke was a bit nervous at times, but you see this guy who's 23 years of age with the elegance of like prime Zidane, with like the the anticipation of Frank Lampard and when to arrive into the box. It's honestly, I've never seen something like that before, and it's a joy to watch. And I hope we are celebrating him at the moment, but I hope we continue to celebrate him because he's a world-class player for us.
You know what, Andros, as well, we're lucky to have him in the sense that I said at the start of the show, like bravery can be, when you block a ball. There's bravery against Mexico when players will head the ball with someone's foot high or they'll play with an injury, whatever. But I also think, Andros, you'll know this, bravery is when, it's tough. You 1-0 down to Norway. They could have scored 2. They could have scored 3, but I'm going to get on the ball. I'm going to make something happen. He's brave in that way, isn't he? Where, give it to me. I'm going to go and get my team a goal.
And you know better than most, Gabe. I think that's the most important brave, because in those moments, Mexico away in the Azteca, you see players shrink a little bit, but he was puffing his chest out, give me the ball, I'm going to worm my way out of 2 or 3 players. And he's so important for the side because he just has no fear. He just plays with a freedom that I haven't really seen before a player his age. And it's amazing to see, Gabby.
There's a lot of talk, Andros, and I don't want to talk about it, to be honest, mate. Give it any time of day. But afterwards, the interview and how Bellingham spoke and how the manager spoke, what's your thoughts on that, mate?
I think Bellingham was set up a little bit by the reporter, because the reporter made it seem like Thomas Tuchel was having a go at the performance. He wasn't having a go at the performance. He was merely saying that the mentality was what won them this game. They weren't at their free-flowing best, but their mentality and their braveness to get on the ball saw them over the line. Whereas when Jude Bellingham had his interview, emotions were running high. He just helped his team get into a semi-final. It was almost framed as if that the manager was unhappy with the performance. And so it brought out a spiky response. But come on, guys, we're in the semi-final of a World Cup. Let's get behind our team. Let's get behind our manager. Let's stop trying to create headlines that our star players going up against our manager. It's not good for us. It's not good for us going into that game against a nation where everyone is on side, everyone is together. The support is the best. The South American is the best I've seen in the World Cup. I've done Argentina, I've gone Colombia. They're the most passionate. I saw commentators crying when they scored the winning goal against Switzerland. So let's try and have a bit of that togetherness going into Wednesday, because we're going to need it.
I thought as well, going on to the other players, because there were other players that I thought done well. I think a special mention for Concert right back. I think some of the clearances that he made, there was a goal-saving one, wasn't it, off the bar, and then he gets up and challenges Berg and gets rid of it. Also, I thought Morgan Rogers coming on and playing centre midfield, where I was baffled with that, but he worked out for him as well. Saka when you come on as well. And also, I thought Anderson played his best game in the England shirt. What's your thoughts, Andros?
Those guys were very good. And again, we struggled in the wide areas. I think they target our wide areas to double up. They know that's where our threat is. So they look to double up on a Madueke and a Gordon, who, again, didn't have their most productive game. But, those guys, Konza, especially filling in right back, which it probably suits him because in possession, he was like a third centre-half. He wasn't looking to overlap. He was just our protection. So that suited him. And Elliot Anderson on the ball, getting on the ball and trying to be positive, trying to play diagonal, play the ball in behind. Yeah, it's so important for us.
I don't want to be negative, but Madueke not having the best time.
No.
Do you stick with him, guys? What do you do, Andros, or do you make that change? Like a 20% Bukayo Saka, is that still better than Madueke?
I think Saka's obviously a lot better player, isn't he, Andros? But how fit is he to start Saka? Is that an issue?
Yeah, I think so. And I think players like Jed Spence and Madueke, they've become a little bit of a scapegoat because, especially in that first half, Madueke, it's tough in the opening half of games. Gabby, there's no space for the technical players, for the quick players. And he didn't get to 60 minutes where it opens up, and then you can use your 1v1 technical ability. So I think he's a bit unfortunate. I don't know what Thomas Tuchel is going to do, because the players that came on did make a difference. So he's definitely got 1 or 2 decisions, especially in that wide right area on who he goes for first and who he goes as an impact player in the last 30 minutes.
All right, Andros, we're looking forward to this.
No more time.
What's up? Go on.
One more question. Sorry. Andros, I want to be positive as much as you do and everyone else, but do you look at the negatives of the game and say the set pieces, there was such a threat, wasn't there? McAllister scored off a set piece as well in their quarter-final, and how they could counter-attack on us. Do we have to be a lot better at those in the next game?
I think set piece wise, I think we'll be better prepared. Alexis McAllister is one of the smallest players on the pitch. He won first contact on at least 3 corners, and that can't happen. So I think we'll be better prepared in that. I don't think counterattacks is the worry. I think it's allowing their midfield players to dominate the area in between the lines where the Messi, the Enzo Fernandez is of this world, Alexis McAllister, they all like to operate. Are they going to create an overload in there between Rice and Anderson in that space there? That's my biggest worry, rather than the counter-attacks that they can pose.
Andros, we need to let you go, but just before we do that, you're an absolute disgrace, by the way. eating boiled eggs on a plane. You're a...
What's worse, boiled eggs or microwavable plane food?
Boiled eggs?
What?
Okay.
In that chamber of...
Andros, please, Andros, can you get a flight and sit next to Shaban and offer an egg?
You wouldn't make it, Andros.
What, an egg? I've got a spare one.
Opening the window and chucking him out. Andros Townsend, thank you.
Thank you, mate.
We look forward to hearing from you again.
Top man.
Take care of yourself, former England winner. Andros Townsend there. Coverage of England-Argentina gets underway for you here 7 o'clock Wednesday night out in Atlanta. By the way, there's aircon, isn't there, in that studio as well? So nice reward after that Miami heat. Kick off 8 o'clock on Wednesday.